Hi guys, and welcome back to Switched On. And today I just want to have a quick chat about a game that I'm calling Call of Fakey, because I'm sure nobody else has thought of that. But it's a new game, basically a Call of Duty rip-off by rip-off specialists Gameloft. Now these guys normally release their stuff on mobile and rarely branch out into console, but they've released their latest in their popular series Modern Combat on the Nintendo Switch this week. So we're going to have a quick look at it because, I don't know, I've got a few things to say about it, good and bad. But I thought it was worth having a little looky. So basically this game originated on mobile and it's coming up to 5 years old, the original version. It's free to play on mobile devices and they have an absolutely shed load of in-app purchases, which really destroys the game. And it has that stupid energy mechanic as well, so you can sort of play it for 10 minutes and then all of a sudden you're out of this mythical energy and you have to wait 68 days or whatever it is for your energy to build back up, or you can pay hard-earned cash to be magically replenished. Thankfully, none of that has been carried over to the Nintendo Switch version, so it's just a one-off payment. I think it's $14.99 on the UK e-store. I paid a bit less going via the Czechoslovakian store. That's the cheapest region for it at the moment. And yeah, as I say, it's basically a Call of Duty rip-off. It has a few different modes. It's got a single player mode, quite a decent campaign, spread over sort of 6 chapters. And each of those chapters are set in a different location, and each location has different things in it, which is quite interesting. You have a sort of a few missions to do with the story to keep the story moving along, and these are quite small, quite bite-sized missions. They take sort of between 5 and absolutely maximum 15 minutes at the most, more like between the 5 to 10 minute period to play. So they're really nice bite-sized missions, great for the Switch, just so you can pick up and play. And even if you sort of die during a mission, you're not going to have to trudge through too much to do it again. Completing those missions gives you stars. You get sort of 3 challenges to complete in each mission, and for each one of those you do, you get a star, and the more stars you get, the more missions you unlock. So it's one of those sort of progression systems. Also within each location of the story as well, there's normally a special ops section, and this is a set of special missions, slightly different to the normal story. So, for example, in the first level, you have a sniper mission, which is quite fun. You're sitting up on a rooftop, and you've got to help your colleague get across a courtyard while enemies are sort of running out to stop him. And you've got to sit up there and assist him and pick them off as they come out, which is a really fun little mission. Other missions are, they're all different sorts of things. One's an assault mission where you have to kill, I think it's 20 people in the building before you complete the mission. And again, these are graded on stars, so the quicker you do them, the more headshots you get, the better your accuracy, that kind of thing, the more stars you get. So that's quite a cool thing. I've really enjoyed playing those, to be honest. Those special ops missions are really fun. And also within each location there are also some multiplayer challenges that are specific to that region, and again, completing these earns you stars and sort of serve as a little tutorial to the multiplayer mode in its full, really. So it's sort of introducing you to different weapons and different game modes and multiplayer. So that's quite a cool little feature. So each time you unlock a new region, you've got these different things to do. You haven't just got to plough through the story, you've also got a few different bits to do. But as I say, the story campaign, usual sort of fodder for these games. The big bad guys are trying to take over the world and backstabbing and intrigue as you chase them down. But basically what it boils down to is you moving through a location, clearing out the bad guys, and then often there'll be a boss or a helicopter. There's also these sort of set pieces that you get in the modern sort of Call of Duty games nowadays, where you're sort of piloting a helicopter or a gunship or something like that. And there's also quick time events as well sometimes, so if you're running around it will break to a quick time event and you'll have to just either use motion controls, though thankfully they're optional. You can just use the right stick when prompted to do a quick time event. So it's not bad. I mean, you have to bear in mind this is a budget game. I think it's $20 in America, so it's like a third of a full price game. And if you're going with those expectations, it's a mobile port, it's a cheap budget game, don't go in expecting Call of Duty, but expect something, you know, that gives you the same sort of feeling as a Call of Duty game. There's also full multiplayer. There's a local multiplayer. If you've got friends with Switches, you can all link up and play multi, which is a nice little feature. But online, I think there's a maximum of 12 players online, seems to be. I've played mainly team matches online, and it's 6v6. There's also solo, sort of free-for-all. And I think there's more modes either unlockable or they are coming. There's a section on like the menu UI to say coming soon for one of the modes. Obviously do need Nintendo Switch Online to play online, so just to clarify that, you will need a subscription to the online service to play online here. It's a bit laggy, to be honest. It isn't the greatest. I mean, overall the game looks like a sort of early PlayStation 3 game, if I'm being kind, really. It's not the best looking game, but it sort of runs around okay. Online, as I say, is a little bit laggy, so you're going to find sort of some warping and, you know, some stuttering. Again, manage your expectations going in. Don't go in expecting, you know, an amazing online experience. It is what it is. It's fun enough. The biggest problem I have with online, and this will come through from the mobile version, is it's kind of pay to win. Even though there's no in-app purchases in this, you are basically, you're going to be more powerful the better weapons that you've unlocked during the game. Now you can unlock these weapons during multiplayer or single player, so it's basically the more you play the game, the better you're going to be equipped for the multiplayer version, because you should have better weapons unlocked, and each weapon has a number of upgrades as well that you can unlock as you play. So, you know, the better players that have played more, they're going to be standouts. Thankfully, the little way to combat this, which isn't quite working at the moment, hopefully they can do something to fix it, but there's like a league system. So you start off with a qualifier, where I think you play 5 or 6 online matches, and then that determines what league you go into. And there's basically bronze, silver, gold and platinum, maybe one other diamond or something. Yeah, hopefully the better players that have been playing it longer will be shoved up into the higher leagues and they can all fight each other. But if you are a new player and you are unfortunate enough to get matched up with better players that have got better weapons, you're going to have a frustrating time. And that's what the key word for the multiplayer is, especially at the beginning. It's frustrating. You know, you've got your starting weapon and you can basically unload like 300 rounds into someone and they just stand there and then, you know, shoot you once and you're dead. From that point of view, it's a little bit disappointing. But, you know, again, go in, prepare to grind a bit, prepare to get those better weapons. You should start having some fun. There's also a daily challenges mode, which is quite nice, which is like a set list of achievements that you get a certain time limit to completing. These are really varied. If you complete those during the allotted time period, you get extra XP, which is nice. And as I say, these XPs and different things, they all help to level up your weapons. There is a shop in the game, and again, just to stress, there's no in-app purchases. You can't buy any currency with real money, so this is all earned from doing, you know, your missions and challenges in the game. But there's a shop where you can buy a loot crate basically that has cosmetics in it. I don't think you can straight up buy weapons, but the weapons unlock as you play. You sort of see a nice progress after you complete a mission or complete an online game, showing what's going to be upgraded. There's basically like an XP bar for every component of a weapon, and then when that fills up, it unlocks and you can use it. So overall, I quite like it, to be honest. I'm a bit of a sucker for these average games that people tend to love to hate. But I don't mind, say for 12 quid, you know, you would probably not get a decent McDonald's meal nowadays for 12 quid. So if you're going with an expectation, it's a budget game. It's not the best technically, but you know, if you really like first-person shooters, there is some fun here. The gunplay actually feels quite nice, especially in the campaign. I think that the campaign and those special op missions really stand out over the multiplayer for the moment. But just feels really nice. There's lots of nice effects, quite gory. I'd say adult content, you know, there's a lot of swearing in it and stuff like that. HD rumble's used really nicely, so each weapon's got its own sort of different feel. Really nice, subtle HD rumble. It's not just a flat-out, full-on rumble for every weapon. It's quite unique for each weapon, so it feels nice. Yeah, so basically go in with a lowered expectation. There's plenty of content here. And yeah, I hope you can see from the footage that I've shown off, if you're going to like it or not. But check it out, get online, have some fun. You know, kind of hoping if this one does well, then Gameloft will consider bringing some of their other games over from mobile. Particularly the excellent Asphalt series. Asphalt 9 was the last one, which was quite different to usual racing games. Weird control scheme in that, but it worked quite well for mobile. But any of the Asphalt games are really good. They're kind of a rip-off Forza Horizon games in a way. Certainly the later Asphalt games are. But there's all sorts of games that Gameloft have done, and I'm sure if this one does well, they may well consider bringing some of those others over. So that's something to look forward to. New games on the Switch, always a good thing. So that's it for me. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed that video. Please consider subscribing if you haven't already. I might do a review of Modern Combat when I've played it a little bit more. So sometime next week. And I've got some other reviews going live on the site in the next week or so as well. So check those out. In the meantime, have a great weekend. And I will speak to you again soon. Thanks a lot. And bye-bye.